ready to make a movie. Here's a go and a gun. Come along and join the party while we stare at the sun.
Hello, Phil Moore here from Randwick TAFE and A Girl and a Gun, coming to you from SMPTE 2013. And I have with me Chris McCallum. G'day, Chris.
Hi.
A location sound recordist, and today you're here wearing Lemac's hat.
Yes. No, Lemac have brought me in as the industry expert on the Zaxcom range of equipment.
And this is what we're here. We're going to talk about the Zaxcom range. So what have we got here in front of us?
Well, I've got the very latest Zaxcom product, which is this little baby unit down here, which arrived from America the day before the show started. This is called the Max. A 4-input mixer, 6-channel recorder. Basically, this unit is the baby brother to the Nomad, but the beauty of this particular unit is that it has a RF transmitter for camera links built into the unit itself. So It's a very versatile small format mixer.
Right, so this is, what did you say, 4-channel, was it?
4-channel in, 4 analog channel in. It's also a series of digital on a DB9, so I think there's 4 digital inputs, 4 digital outputs. It allows you to mix internally, record isolated tracks internally, and basically output a 2-track mix digitally to a camera, and it also records your 2-track mix. So when you go to post with this unit, it provides a 6-channel poly file, which has your 4 ISOs,
all 6 together,
mix, all together.
Right, as a broadcast wave or something, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and this is the brand new one from, let's have a look at the early one. We actually had this at our college, which is the Nomad.
The Nomad, yes. I've got this one powered up and ready to go, but this is the 12-track recorder.
Yeah.
So this basically provides every file. I own a Nomad myself.
It's the one you use mostly.
I use this in the field, and so far I've had this on the road for about 18 months. I've taken it everywhere from the deserts of Muttaburra to the Great Barrier Reef, and it's never once failed me. It's a beautiful device. Incredibly versatile, wonderful quality, great build, and I'm sold. That's why I'm here spruiking the product, because it's my preferred mixer recorder.
So give us a rundown on the specs for this, for those that don't know.
Well, this is basically it takes 6 analog inputs at the back, and the beauty of that is that they're actually recessed. So once you've got this in a bag, because most of us out in the field are working in a bag, so that's sitting there, your loom comes out and it's not obstructed by the gear underneath. It also has a series of digital inputs. It has time code in and out, so I can supply time code to cameras for jam syncing. I can accept time code from if we're jamming other units. It's built primarily for in-the-bag mixing recording, but designed to work in multi-camera, multi-sound environments. The ability to choose any one of 1 to 12 tracks simultaneously to record. I can choose any matrixing setup I want from that, so I can basically have isolated inputs on every input, or isolated recording tracks on every input, or I can mix within the unit and take sub-mixes out within the unit itself. So it's an enormously versatile machine.
Do you need that many tracks on a location record?
To be honest, so far no. And if I had to juggle 12 inputs simultaneously, I'd probably start to ask for a second sound recorder. But in a reality sense, we recently did a UK reality production here for 6 weeks, and we were juggling up to about 11 talent at a time. Now, admittedly, I wasn't recording isolated tracks for 11 talent, but I was juggling that many at any one time. So there are occasions when you need to do that. But in a situation where you can also mount this on a sound cart and work in a sort of feature scenario, very versatile. You can use it that way as well. Right.
So this is the new one. So do you anticipate switching to that for certain jobs? What would be the advantage of this new one for
the advantage of course, is the size. The big advantage is the fact that it does have the RF transmitter for camera links built into it.
Right.
Now, I operate with a second unit of this, so my basic setup would be radio mic receivers, this as the mixer, and then the output of that goes to an RF transmitter and back to the camera. That eliminates the need to have a separate stereo transmitter because it's built into the unit itself. So it's a big feature in saving space and saving RF floating around in your bag.
So for a smaller shoot, a simpler shoot, 4 channels with the built-in RF, but at that level, it basically does everything. It's the same internal technology as this, basically, you would say, is it?
It's almost identical, basically. The only difference is this has a section called Zaxnet, which I'd love to talk about because it's a fantastic feature.
Well, tell us about
Zaxcom. Well, Zaxnet's a communications feature that's
I was going to ask what this was
built
for,
into the 2.4 gigahertz range.
Right.
So it controls things like timecode jamming to all of the radio mics and IFB units. It allows me to very cleverly synchronize a radio mic transmitter with my mixer, so I can change frequencies and gain on the transmitter itself without calling the transmitter back in from the field. So if I have an actor that starts to whisper and I'm not getting enough gain out of them, I can in fact dial up this unit from my mixer and increase the transmission gain from the transmitter itself.
Right.
And consequently, if they start yelling, I can turn it back down again. So no distortion should in fact ever come from this unit.
Good.
I can also...
That's the bane of any sound recorder.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and if someone starts yelling in the field and your gain's set too high in the transmitter, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
With this, I can just very quickly choose that channel, turn down the transmission gain, and the problem is solved.
Right. But you would say this is a serious professional unit?
Absolutely.
Right. This is more the budget model?
Well, yes and no.
The
The fully spec'd version of this costs about the same as the entry level of this. So I guess if you're comparing that, then that is the case. The maximum we'll ever be able to record on this is 6 channels. The maximum you can record on this is 12, so you've got double the amount of recordable tracks. But they have built them slightly differently. So this contains the Zaxnet technology where this one doesn't. Yeah. This contains the RF transmission to the camera where this one doesn't.
Would you want to have both in the same unit, ideally?
I guess if you were jumping between larger and smaller productions, then that would probably be ideal. A lot of us have 2 bag scenarios where we'll go out on a small production, we might only have 2 radio mics and a boom, in which case this is perfect. Yeah. Once you get into sort of juggling 4 or 5 receivers and a boom, then this is perfect. Yeah. So it really is depending on what job you want. If we all had the money, I guess we'd equip both ways.
Have a bit of everything. Now, you've also got, you held it up before the radio mic there. That's a Zaxcom brand, was it?
It is. And the totally unique feature to these is, of course, and it's a worldwide patent they've got now, these mics have SD cards in them. Which record everything that goes through the transmitter. So that will record up to 24 hours of sound, which is fairly pointless because batteries only last 6. But what I would do in a scenario with this is I roll continuously throughout the day, recording everything that goes through this unit. So if we run out of range, or if I have a radio splat, or if the talent has to go somewhere that I can't, the sound is always recorded on this unit.
So you might lose a bit of control, but at least it's getting it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I did a shoot the other day where we had a 2-seater sports car. The talent was sitting in the driver's seat. We had a cameraman sitting in the passenger seat doing an interview scenario. There was nowhere for sound to be. I made sure this was rolling. They went away, did a 20-minute interview whilst driving the car, came back, I downloaded the sound.
That's a brilliant idea, actually. Yeah.
The problem is now my microphones go to far more interesting places than I do.
Yes.
Mine have gone up in helicopters, they've gone out on jet skis, they've gone in boats, they've gone in sports cars.
You've got to not tell people you can do that. Say, I've got to be on this ride. I've got to be along. You need me there.
That's right. Yeah. And of course, the other feature to the Zaxcom range is their IFB unit, which goes beyond a traditional IFB in the sense that it receives timecode across the 2.4 gigahertz, and it actually receives audio across that as well. So in a straight monitoring situation for a director or a producer, they can put some headphones in and listen to exactly what it is that I'm transmitting.
Yep.
Or I can choose to output timecode from this and use it as a separate camera link. So for something like a Red Epic or a Red Scarlet, I can mount this on the side of the camera, I can feed it audio, and I can feed it timecode simultaneously. So it becomes not only a radio link, but a locket box as well. So it's a very versatile unit.
Brilliant. Is there anything else there? This is just the battery for that one.
That's just the battery for that.
How long does that last for?
In my scenario, I'm running a Nomad. I'm running 2 4-channel receivers. I'm running a camera link out, and I pretty much get anywhere between 8 and 10 hours out of one battery.
There's a day's worth of shooting.
Well, that's right. I carry a spare with me just in case, and when it gets to about 25%, I change it over. So the embarrassing situation where everything drops out on you.
All right.
Actually, that's another scenario with these. All all of these units record in a proprietary Zaxcom audio format, which means if you were recording a typical broadcast wave file and you had a power failure, there's every chance that that file would be corrupted and would either need to be repaired or scrapped. I've had scenarios. I did Triple J's One Night Stand out in Dolby last year, and we were doing long interviews out in the field, and for some reason I had a catastrophic power failure 30 minutes into an interview, and my immediate impression was, have I lost everything that I've recorded?
Yeah.
But the file was intact to the very moment that the power failed.
Right.
And that's the case with all of these units, and then there's a simple conversion process to export WAV files from them.
All right. Okay, Chris, thank you so much for coming in. If anyone wants to get a hold of this gear, where can they get it?
LEMAC are the Australian distributors for Zaxcom. Basically, everything's made to order, so if you want specific equipment that can be made, shipped out from America, and LEMAC are the people to speak to.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, LEMAC. And that's it for this one. Thank you, guys.